the clearest way into the universe is through a forest wilderness. John Muir. Spanning across 8 countries and crown the world's largest land biome, the Boreal Forest, or taiga, is home to vast regions of coniferous and broadleaf tree species, and houses the most surface freshwater out of any other biome. Evolving under restricted conditions induced by short growth seasons along with extreme winters, boreal ecosystems tend to exhibit lower tree diversity. However, this measurement misrepresents the wide range of other types of species that reside within the Boreal Biosphere. The taiga's extensive woodlands also contribute to climate regulation, serving as an immense reservoir of biogenic carbon, in which only tropical forests slightly outperform. The elaborate tapestry of evergreens, marshes, meadows, lakes, and rivers that constitute much of the northern hemisphere allows for a multitude of unique species to thrive in some of the harshest conditions on Earth. As dawn breaks across the southeastern panhandle of Alaska, a colossal mammal begins its morning feeding routine. The northern feeding grounds of humpback whales remain in polar waters, like those surrounding the coasts of Alaska and the North Atlantic. However, the whales take part in seasonal migrations that extend into the tropics during times of breeding, in which some populations travel up to 5,000 miles. The common name of the humpback whale originates from the distinctive hump on the back of the animal often seen when diving. Its Latin name, Megaptera novaeangliae, meaning big-winged New Englander, references the whale's long pectoral fins and the territory of which European whalers first encountered the giant. This playful calf is full of energy after feeding on his mother's milk, and will entertain himself by rolling at the surface of the water, as well as the occasional breaching to show off his liveliness. During the warmer times of the year, humpback whales will spend most of their time building up fat reserves by feeding on large amounts of small crustaceans and fish. Humpbacks partake in filter feeding, utilizing baleen plates to strain up to 15,000 gallons of water in a single gulp, consuming up to half a ton of prey a day. The air shot out of the humpback whale's blowhole exits at over 300 miles per hour, creating a cloud column that can be seen for miles. A common feeding ritual that humpbacks use to stir up their prey is called bubbling, in which fish are disoriented and corralled to the surface via underwater exhalations by the whale. Different populations of humpbacks have been documented to utilize different forms of air bubble structures to condense their prey. The fluke of humpback whales can be measured up to 18 feet wide, with distinct pigmentation patterns and scars serving as fingerprints to identify individuals. Scientists often use photo identification of flukes to catalog and track individual whales over time. Across the Alaskan Bay is another marine mammal that holds a prominent title in these northern waters. The stellar sea lion is the largest member of the eared seals family, including all sea lions and fur seals. The low-frequency vocalizations that stellar sea lions produce often sound more like roars, differing from the California sea lion's barks. In 1742, during the Bering expedition, the stellar sea lion was first scientifically documented by German surgeon and naturalist Georg Wilhelm Steller, in which the species is named after. The sea lions can be seen oftentimes sunning to warm themselves and regain energy after swimming in the frigid northern Pacific waters. However, there appears to be no more room left on this buoy. Adult male sea lions can grow to be 11 feet in length and weigh up to 2,500 pounds, while females range from 7.5 to 9.5 feet and only reach 800 pounds. The predatory nature of the stellar sea lion allows them to consume a wide range of prey, foraging and feeding on over 100 different species of fish, most often at night. The sea lions forage near and offshore in both benthic and pelagic zones, in which different individuals have been documented to exhibit their own unique foraging strategy. Research done by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration Fisheries has shown that during the non-breeding season, adult females may be found foraging in deeper waters when compared to the breeding season, in which females must forage close to their rookery in order to return and nurse their young. Stellar sea lions can be found to travel long distances in a season, where their diving ability changes with an individual's age. The deepest dive recorded was around 1,400 feet in depth. Due to the aquatic temperament of the stellar sea lion, the species is often subject to a multitude of different threats, ranging from human influence of fisheries limiting food supply, toxic substance contamination, and induced stress and injury from water and aircraft vessels, to the environmental effects of climate change altering water conditions. Because of these threats, it becomes vital for people to monitor and mitigate the impacts imposed upon such a spectacular and stellar species. Further inland, there exists a species that is just as numerous as the tourists. The bald eagle. Once considered an extremely rare species in North America during the mid to late 1900s as a result of trapping, shooting, and poisoning from relay toxicity of pesticides like dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane, or DDT, The bald eagle now thrives thanks to conservation efforts of banning the infamous pesticide, along with listing the species under the Protection of the Endangered Species Act. The North American Breeding Bird Survey documented the bald eagle's recovery, manifesting numbers increasing by nearly 4% per year between 1966 and 2019, leading to the removal of the bird from the endangered species list in 2007. Bald eagles generally nest in forested areas close to large bodies of water, and although mostly solitary, can be found congregating near human activity and in large numbers when food is present. In the event of courtship displays, a male and female will fly into the sky, lock talons, and tumble downward through the air together, breaking off only at the last moment to avoid crashing to the ground. These large gatherings of eagles can become lively, with birds shoving for positions and sparring over prey. When feeding, bald eagles tend to harass other predators while also defending their own catches from other eagles or scavengers like ravens or crows. It seems someone has an eye on this eagle's breakfast. Nothing to see here. Just a little closer. Seems to be a tough prize. Ah, the plan's foiled. In comparison with tropical and temperate forests, the boreal forest maintains a relatively low diversity of species and abundance of individual organisms. However, the plants and animals that inhabit this northern biosphere have developed unique adaptations to help with thriving year-round in an area that experiences extreme cold, short summers, and frequent fires. Some animals circumvent the harsh winters by hibernating during the cold season. Bears, some rodents, wood frogs, and many species of insects take part in this hibernation process. The use of insulating layers also serves as a means by which some species keep warm during the winter and cool in the summer. Caribou and wolves maintain dense fur coats, while ptarmigan and grouse grow thick layers of down feathers. The smaller mammals, like ermine and red squirrels, utilize their environment for insulation, burrowing under the snow or in trees under snow-covered branches. In a place where trophic levels often define the relationship between predator and prey, the species better equipped for evading the stressors of both its hunters and the environment will thrive. Just like the animals require special adaptations to survive the ruthlessness of boreal forests, so too do the plants. In the event of a fire, plants of boreal forests most often survive through resilient methods. Species like willow and wild rose can resprout from unburned rhizomes, while geraniums hold seeds that lie dormant in the soil for years until post-fire conditions become available for germination. Other species are airborne, like aspen and birch seeds that are winged, and fireweed and balsam poplar seeds which get carried by cotton-like fluff. Unlike tropical forests that exhibit a growing season of up to 300 to 365 days, boreal forests generally only have a growing season window of about 130 days. Most plants must fit their growth into this short duration. However, plants like black and white spruce can extend their growing seasons by retaining their frost-resistant needles year-round, continuing photosynthesis later into autumn and earlier in the spring than deciduous species. In the advent of warmer weather, longer days loosen the grasp of winter on the land and waterways, causing fast snowmelt and dramatic rising in water levels. The seasonal bounty of budding plants and emergence of large masses of insects brings about millions of migratory birds to the boreal forest. An avian symphony takes hold as waterfowl descend upon lakes feeding on fish, aquatic plants, and insects. Forest birds like warblers and thrushes fill the trees searching for beetles, flies, and berries, and hawks, owls, and falcons watch over the skies, surveying for other birds and small mammals. For a short period of time, these long-distance travelers court, nest, feed, and raise young in preparation for the return journey south. Trumpeter swans travel to the ponds and marshes of boreal forests to nest and forage, hailing from wintering sites in central North America. Regarded as the biggest waterfowl in North America, males of the trumpeter swan species average over 26 pounds, making it the heaviest flying bird of North America as well. During feeding, trumpeter swans participate in an action known as dabbling, where the rear half of their body emerges from the water into the air as they search for algae, leaves, roots, and stems of aquatic plants beneath the surface. While trumpeter swans are assumed to mate for life, some individuals have been found to switch mates during their lifetimes, while some males that have lost their mates were shown to not mate again. In the course of this misty morning, an eerie wail echoes over the marsh. The distinctive call is produced by none other than the common loon. Common loons are fantastic indicators of water quality, often requiring crystal clear lakes in adherence to their underwater hunting methods, as well as abundant small fish populations. Large bodies of water that contain coves and islands are generally preferred by loons, allowing for adequate cover and protection from predators while resting and nesting. Loons also need waterways with a large enough surface area to account for their long-running and flapping takeoffs across the water. Because of their aquatic nature, loons spend most of their time in the water, only going to shore in order to mate and incubate eggs. Furthermore, their familiarity with water translates to their remarkable agileness when it comes to swimming. The common loon is an excellent angler, shooting through the water at fast speeds and quick direction changes when in pursuit of prey. A feeding loon family can consume copious amounts of fish. Biologists estimate that a family of loon parents and 2 chicks can eat roughly a half-ton of fish over a 15-week period. The parents will often take turns ferrying their offspring on their backs while the other partner dives for food. Loon offspring, referred to as loonlets, have the ability to swim almost immediately, but spend their first few weeks riding on their parents' back for protection and warmth. The loon parents continue to feed their loonlets for weeks, teaching the youngsters how to fish and eventually fly by week 11 or 12, in which the parents will depart for migration. Some of the waterways found amongst the boreal forest environment have been constructed by one of their own inhabitants. This mammal is one of the few animals that actively changes an ecosystem through its actions of blocking rivers and streams with trees and mud, creating new lakes, ponds, and floodplains. This suspicious branch floating in the water is being maneuvered by the largest rodent in North America. the North American beaver. Related to its muskrat cousin, the beaver is known for its ability to build dams and lodges out of branches and mud, constructing homes that generally have only underwater access. Beavers travel over both land and water to collect and eat tree bark, leaves, roots, and wetland plants to serve their semi-aquatic herbivorous diet. Beavers have been known to stay underwater for up to 15 minutes without surfacing, and have transparent eyelids that serve as goggles, as well as the ability to close their ears and nose, aiding in their underwater operations. The noticeable long, flat tail of the beaver helps it swim faster, acts as an alarm against predators when slapped on the water's surface, and aids in balancing the beaver when carrying a heavy log or tree. Since its rather short history following deglaciation, the taiga biome has experienced many fluctuations within its respective climate. However, the contemporary increase in temperature confronted by both northern latitudes and other ecosystems around the world is abnormal regarding its rate and magnitude. Northern environments like the boreal forest have experienced disproportionately higher effects, resulting in detrimental impacts like the melting of permafrost, alterations in tree growth rates, increased frequencies of wildland fires, and changes in the occurrence of insect outbreaks. The delicate thermal balance that is maintained in northern regions, such as the boreal forest, is under constant threat from climate change and other human-related influences. However, with the support of community awareness, legislative action and funding, and scientific research, the boreal forests and other ecosystems can be preserved and conserved for posterity and the current organisms existing in them. British broadcaster and biologist Sir David Attenborough once remarked, "The truth is, the natural world is changing, and we are totally dependent on that world. It provides our food, water, and air. It is the most precious thing we have, and we need to defend it."